Hi, everyone. Welcome to today's meeting in consciousness. I jokingly say this is a gym. We get together to develop the muscles that are necessary to abide in our natural self, to abide in truth. Today, I'm going to not say, or maybe I never say, anything new. But what I intend to do is use a synergy, use correlations that are going to actually help you just have an aha moment. And I'm so thankful to Siobhan because when she commented on one of the videos or transmissions we did together, she said that it is such an essential aha moment. It's like a realization. Suddenly, it's almost like reality barges in and then it just clicks. Yes. I'm going to start with this kind of like a revolutionary sentence by Anagori. And he said, if you don't live with reality, be sure reality is going to essentially live with you. So let's shed some light on this revolutionary kind of coyish expression of an agori. And I'm not going to go into what agora is, but it's one of the most ancient forms of yogic attitude to life. It's extreme, but at the same time, it's very real. So the last session, or during the last, I think maybe the session before the last, we practiced the realization that your consciousness is actually generating your body. And I'm developing a very essential work. And I think consciousness or the soul itself is guiding me to illuminate what I mean under sovereign energy. What is sovereign energy? And it is a very wide topic, and this is part of it. So today we're going to do our further inquiry into the dynamism of consciousness. And what we are doing is making a process that is actually at the background of your life more and more obvious until there's no distance. That's very important because a lot of us identify so much with this body-mind mechanism that we are not very clean and clear about the rules of the game of manifestation, because your body itself is being manifested moment to moment. So we have to develop a conscious relationship with prana or life force energy. And part of our life force energy, these are different sublime, more and more refined versions of energy, which is also your Kundalini Shakti. Without your Kundalini Shakti, you would not be alive. And today, I'd like to talk about, let's say people come to me and maybe you've pondered in your life, what is my life purpose? What direction do I need to take? I'm going to consult this and this person. And I'm going to answer. that the only person who can answer that is your inner guru, your inner authentic sovereign being. And in this gym, this multidimensional gym that we're attending, is allowing us to come closer and closer to that reality in order to answer questions such as what is my life purpose? Or how do I stop being so wretched? Or how do I stop leaking energy? Or how do I stop how do I stop making bad decisions? Now, I'm going to point to something very, very essential. And you know all of the tenets, just bring them together now in this different relationality. All of these questions, how do I heal if I have a physical illness? How do I strengthen my ability to stay in the field of my loving awareness? How do I know what is my true purpose? How do I not prostitute my life force energy to the hyper-capitalist technocracy that you nicely dance around with? So we understand that we live in a highly externalized world. What does that mean? All the senses go outward and they're playing constantly with phenomena, but they're not even playing consciously, because if it was a conscious play, then it's nice, it's pleasant. But if we externalize our attention and focus, which is the tendency of this body-mind mechanism, then we absolutely do not have any control over our life. And we try to have some control over our life, and to some degree it does work through the hyper controlling aspect of our intellect, but it's very limited. And it very rarely leads to satisfaction. I'm going to state the obvious. If the domain of the mind, the frequency of your thoughts, are very rapid, and all you do is you're riding the current of the mind, then what you're doing intrinsically, and we are talking from the level of prana, life force energy, that type of velocity of the mind field, I call it mind field, is creating a lot of vata, a lot of burning. And that burning, what it does is it plunges all of your life force into chaos. So there is, I think, the second law of Newtonian physics is that everything is veering towards chaos. But when we look at consciousness, everything is veering first seemingly towards chaos, and then some kind of an order arises from chaos. Yes, and it fluctuates back and forth. Now look at Kali Yuga. This is the modern mind, is Kali Yuga. the rapid kind of hyper addiction to scrolling, all kinds of gadgets, the requirements of modern living, also driving. So that all speeds up this field that takes our attention. I would call it a shadow field. Esther, what should I do with my life? How do I align with my Dharma? And I was questioning, I was putting these questions myself, so I'm not making fun of them. And I'm going to tell you something. It takes a while until you let go of trying to make sense of your life through the mind and we are already developing this higher consciousness and higher attunement, and through that atonement with your life force or through your life force. And that field is what's going to automatically answer your questions. And then, how do I hear the answers? How do I hear the answer? Because usually the answer comes very, almost imperceptibly. It's very silent. And I assure you that life had to humble me to that degree where I started turning inwards. I signed up for that because I saw there is no other way. And then slowly, slowly, that process germinated my awareness, which is, what is awareness? I have to use language, and it's just your finger pointing towards the moon. It's not the moon itself. So awareness is that field that is yourself. It's your own true access to what is. We're talking about conscious use of our life force energy. We also know that the body is multidimensional. We have more than 360 senses. Now, what we're actually purifying here in this gym, multidimensional gym, we come here and we are developing these senses so that you finally become more and more aware of who you are post this body, post this personality. So there, in the ancient history, there were these beings, I might not call them humans, they were called rishis. And rishi means a seer. And a seer just means that your the level of the expansiveness of your consciousness is so limitless that you have the ability to very acutely, precisely, wisely, and lovingly detect what is comprising this reality, because they don't look from close up, they look from an expanded point of view of a non-self. So how do we get there? If you don't live with reality, then eventually reality will come and live with you. I love that saying. It's very playful because all you can tell is that as you're aging, you may have less life force energy or less curiosity, or you see that some of your faculties are not as sharp as they were, and it doesn't have to be so. And the only thing that is actually tuning these faculties to underperform, they underperform as it is. Let's say you age and they underperform even more, then it just means that the ingrained ways through which you are used to living and perceiving reality are dominating your life. So in this gym, we're training our life force energy because they're the only most direct access that you have to your free will is actually consciously conducting your attention and focus. Conscious conduct of your attention and focus. And there's one simple, practical way to bring your attention and focus constantly to the place of non-place, where all of your experiences are springing from. So your body is this radio receiver. It's receiving, I think, a myriad, I cannot name how many in numbers right now, impulses a second. Now, because we are densified light and we think we are the body and we are the mind and we are this psycho-spiritual system, we only tune into some very limited bandwidth of data that is hitting our system moment to moment. Very limited bandwidth. I'm hungry now, I'm stressed out, like, yeah. And your attention is being guided by the outer circumstances, which is normal. But here at this gym, we are moving to the place of non-place where all of this is actually flowing from. And then you will notice that once you develop that center, after we clean out the debris from the psychic centers called chakras, that you're not so volatilely thrown against, let's say, the walls of life. Do you understand? You're then just flowing more at ease. But for that to happen, you have to deconstruct and purify what makes you be thrown against these walls, yes, and meet these obstacles. It's also due to karma. It's also due to avidya, which is ignorance, sin, which is just missing the mark. That's all. So when we do not use our life force consciously, that's what happens. The mind takes over, and then we are trying to somehow make sense of our lives through chaos, because the mind is constantly pulling us into this chaotic field. And I've noticed so many times that when people work with me and I'm holding them in this very still place, they're uncomfortable because that very still place, that is your true nature, that is the very first step towards the expansive ability of your consciousness, is to move into that, the eye of the storm. And call your life the storm, it will never actually calm down, or if it will, for a moment, maybe, but that's not the point. So, how do we lead our life force energy consciously to be of service to consciousness? And let's explore the dynamic nature of consciousness. Did I contradict myself when I said, let's develop that still, silent capacity, which is your true being? And then I said that true being at the same time is dynamic. Consciousness is so pervasive. It can be described by saying that it's still and dynamic at the same time. It's still and moving at the same time. So all of these paradoxes exist. The paradox of Vedanta and Tantra, yogic sciences on a Vedantic side, non-duality side, they would say your body's not real, this life that you lead are not real. So try to turn away from sensual pleasures and involving yourself with experiences. Turn away from that. Tantra would say the opposite. And here we use both because I found that slowly on this path, when you bow down to life, when you bow down to all of the ups and downs of your reality, so-called life, the ups and downs of what your body experience shows you, then you start essentially revering the goddess, revering that potentiality that is constantly creating life. And at the same time, we also move into the background, into the Ur view, to become that which is looking through your eyes. And that which is looking through your eyes, limitless, loving awareness, consciousness, is also here to play with life. So just plug into your spine and consciously plug into the back body so that you are slowly moving yourself deeper and deeper to the core of yourself, the mystical heart. Can we drop all ideas what the mystical heart is? Because you will answer that question for yourself once you start experiencing the mystical heart, which is also Rumi calls the mystical heart the beloved. And you're clearing the view by pulling all of your attention and focus back into the body. Even bowing down like an internal supplicatory gesture of bowing down to this form. Because through this form, you have a way back to the formless. And they're married. Just like this Shiva Shakti Murti here. Half male, half female. The two polarities are here merging. Your Kundalini starts truly ascending when you have this attitude towards life. Instead of descending and leading you towards the lower astral realms where you're encountering predatory situations in your life, you start moving the current to the other direction. Instead of constantly urging yourself to move your consciousness, conscious attention and focus higher than the lower three chakras, dropping back into the suffering, the constant suffering that an ego identity would cause. We start elevating out of that. And we also bow down to our thoughts because our thoughts are magnetic. And the sankalp, or the intention of today, is to truly feel the grace of our authentic self. Grace is actually not only granted to saints. Grace is an alignment. When we have this attitude of bowing down to our inner guru, to our inner wisdom, discernment, love, alignment with truth, that is called samarpan. I bow down. My lower self bows down to the Supreme Self. And both are here right now. So move even deeper to the backside of your heart. And we are going to go through a healing process, going back to a very, very, very known and sometimes scary for the ego place. It's called the Great Void. The sankalp for today is to heal the nervous system, heal our belief that we are separate beings who are fragile, thrown into this world, separated from the grace of God or Supreme Self. And ultimately, the sankalp is to align with our direct remembrance. Please hear this. Everything, the ultimate truth of who you are, is already embodied. Only the outside world and your connection to your sensory organs create a lot of external noise. And like a child is drawn to vivid colors, the toys making these ridiculous noises nowadays, the child being drawn to a fly flying by. That's what we are. But let's become curious. The power of these words starts to guide your attention and focus to the space of who you were before you were born and who you will be when you die. And preferably, you align with it now before you drop this vessel so that you don't meander lost, plunging into another vessel and riding the mirage over and over again. But that's also okay, because our ultimate supreme self does not have a preference. It can allow you to be enamored by Maya, illusion, or it allows you to be addicted to your thoughts. It allows you to be addicted to experience. It allows you to be imposing control and think that you are doing things. But just for the sake of this multidimensional gym, we move to the back body and just let your spine light up with this electric light blue light. We're going to do a fast alignment by plug your focus into 12 finger widths above your head. And start flashing that chakra, Vyapini, or higher self chakra. Just flash it like a stroboscope. And then plug in, keep it flashing. We're just activating the Nadi system. It moves to pitch black, to electric light blue light. It's actually starting to pump into the system a higher voltage above your head, higher voltage of electromagnetic energy. And we are commanding to start pumping out any and all information that is not in alignment with your highest soul frequency. Start plugging into your crown chakra. The flashing starts there now. Do not rush. The mind has a tendency to already be at the root. This is just training you to have a higher vision of your psychic centers. These are different layers of reality. Notice your breath. You're not doing anything with it, but it's feeding the voltage, giving you more life force energy, more power to bring in a flow to the psychic, subtle psychic nervous system. And start flashing it in your third eye, removing all of the images you have been feeding your consciousness, whether offline or online. Zero pointing. Do you dare to zero point all of your belief systems? Just ask yourself, am I craving the truth to that level where I'm open to clear out all of the concepts, all of the patterns of the mind through which I make sense of reality? Am I ready to clear them all out? This is radical because the truth of who you are has nothing to do with concepts. Start flashing this light at the back side of your head where the neck meets the skull. And it truly starts to remove all of your cordings to the false matrices. Matrix is not a bad thing. We all create matrices through our physical embodiments. Like your chakra system is a matrix. Obviously, it's nice to go beyond the chakras. So just remove any and all entanglements from the back side of the head. And then move into your throat. And multitask. See your body vessel from a point of view of expanded, still, dynamic, conscious awareness. Plug into the heart at the back side. And now ask this awareness, how does your awareness, which is more you than your body, how does that feel? How does your consciousness feel about your body? And do not comment, just ask. And the stroboscopic cleansing goes into the solar plexus, but at 3 points behind the belly button, above the belly button, and underneath the belly button. This is where we harmonize with Thy will be done. I and my Father are one. Or Tatvamasi. Or I am that. Or I am Atma. And then start this flashing in your womb and hara space, the second chakra. From time to time, feel, how do you feel as consciousness expanded, limitless, unbridled consciousness? How do you feel about your body? And just by asking this question, you're already healing. Your falsehood of separation. And then start the flashing in your root, cervix, and for women, anus area for men. Just a bit behind the cervix. Mm-hmm. And just see the whole system pulsating. And you can program it to call all of your energy back to you, all of the wasted leaked energy. We're pulling it all back into the system. And I'm asking and programming, commanding the space to correct any incorrections, inversions. We're asking the correction through our conscious, living, dynamic Shakti force, creational force. It's guided by your conscious attention. And just stop the flashing. We're going to enter the void, which is the primordial mother's womb, in order to stop all fluctuations, energetic, mental, emotional, sensational. Entering this space of cocooning and healing. Sometimes you will notice that your mind starts panicking because it doesn't feel comfortable about this place of stillness, silence. This is the space of this dark, as dark blue as almost black. So dark blue and velvety black quality. Healing all of your energy leakages in the aura. And I'm asking this field, this shared field, to guide us and grace us with trust. Trusting the certainty, the wisdom, of your natural self, beyond the intellect. The intellect functions like an MS-DOS, and now we have quantum computers. So you can decide which one you want to lag around with. And then start inquiring, what is this space of the void like? Is it dynamic? Is it heavy or is it light? Is it intersubjective, which means it's playing with you? It responds to every tremor, or is it detached? Does it hold pure potentiality of everything? Do we allow to melt all of our ideas, assertions, all what we fight for, all what we don't fight for? It starts to dissolve the tamas, inertia starts to dissolve, rajas, constant action and movement. And it graces us with sattva, purity, light, paradoxically in the depth of darkness. Explore the mystical heart. It is the cosmic womb. Anandamaya Kosh, the bliss body. Can you feel that countless myriad and myriads of light fragments, particles are being sparked in this darkness? Every little spark is a pure potentiality. And we slow down and stop. Stop. Engaging with energies we become the origin of energy. That is the latent force of the mother. And she is so powerful. Jayama. We bow down to our unique spark. Jayama. We moved behind the dual field. And we feel the healing into our original wholeness. Can I surrender my mind, all of my senses, all of my energies to the great void? And now ask yourself, how do I feel my body? Do you feel the edges of your body? Or have they disappeared? Do you feel this immense aliveness? Do you feel this immense stillness? Do you feel this immense creational power? Jayama. And look at the ego. It may ask, so what's happening now? What's next? Just feel. Heal your nervous system. This is like a med bed. Harmonizing with your highest soul frequency. You ask, and you shall receive. This void is generating your body. So generate a conscious, healthy, joyful, loving, powerful vessel. And I align, you can say, each one of us, I align with the grace of the Supreme Self. And every single body becomes a power object, like a lingam. which is transmitting this grace into your own life, and into your expanded surroundings. I ask this grace to align us with the highest will, as we revere life, revere everything in existence as God. The grace of God. Bring in now, in this powerful space of creation, a situation, a person, or a problem, and literally project God's grace through your third eye into it and see it resolve. Jayama. Jaya, Jaya. I'm hearing one shared inversion in this field is self-hatred. May we all grace and rehabilitate this program so that it transforms into its opposite, self-love. We grace all of our fragmented parts that are screaming in isolation, self-blame, guilt, or shame. We bow down to the experiences and we allow it to dissolve in the cosmic womb. Tatastu. It is so. I am that which is the sight of your eye. Giving sight to your eyes. slowly we're going to exit from the cosmic womb. Just start lighting up 12 finger widths above your head with this electric light blue light. Crown, third eye, back of your head, heart, solar plexus, sacral, and root. Very slowly, when you're ready, you can open your eyes. Do not stay eyes closed.